Welcome to the Lost Testimony. What you are about to hear is not a simple missing person case. It is a disturbing puzzle that has haunted investigators, journalists, and millions of people online for over a decade. It is the story of a young woman who vanished inside a hotel with such a dark history that some say it has swallowed the lives of everyone who dared to enter. This is the case of Elisa Lam. The setting is the infamous Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Built in 1927 as a luxurious destination, the timing of its opening was disastrous. Just 2 years later, the Great Depression struck, and the hotel never recovered. Instead of attracting wealthy travelers, it became surrounded by poverty, crime, and addiction as the neighborhood of Skid Row grew around it. From the 1930s onward, the building gained a reputation as a magnet for tragedy. Guests leapt from upper floors in desperate suicides. Others ended their lives in the privacy of its rooms. Decade after decade, the Cecil was linked to violent deaths. In the 1980s, it became home to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, during his killing spree. Later, another killer, Jack Unterweger, also stayed there while committing murders in Los Angeles. By then, the Cecil was no longer seen as just a hotel. It was a symbol of decay, known by locals as the Suicide Hotel, a place where darkness seemed to live in the walls themselves. Into this backdrop of violence and despair stepped Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada. Elisa was the daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong. She was bright, creative, and deeply introspective, often sharing her thoughts on her blog and Tumblr. She loved literature, fashion, and documenting her experiences. But Elisa also struggled. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and she took medication to manage her condition. Her online posts reveal someone caught between hope and despair, someone trying to find light while constantly battling shadows. In early 2013, Elisa decided to travel alone along the west coast of the United States. She visited San Diego, explored cafes and bookstores, and shared her discoveries online. Los Angeles was just another stop on her journey, a city she intended to leave after a few days to continue north. But she never left. On January 31st, Elisa was supposed to check out of the Cecil Hotel. She never appeared at the front desk. She stopped emailing her parents, something she did every day. Concerned, her family contacted the Los Angeles police. Investigators arrived, searched her room, and found her belongings, but no sign of Elisa. They brought in dogs, who traced her scent toward the rooftop of the hotel before the trail suddenly disappeared. Yet no camera showed her leaving the building. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, guests began to complain about the water. The pressure was low, the liquid was dark, and the taste was unpleasant. No one yet realized these strange complaints were connected to Elisa's disappearance. 2 weeks later, on February 13th, police released a video in hopes the public could help. It was the last known footage of Elisa Lam, captured by a security camera inside an elevator. The video is about 4 minutes long, and it became one of the most unsettling clips ever seen online. In it, Elisa enters the elevator and presses several buttons. The doors remain open. She peeks outside as if someone is following her. She hides in the corner, jumps back in, steps out again, and moves her hands in strange, deliberate gestures, almost like she is communicating with someone invisible. Finally, she leaves the frame, and the doors close. Elisa Lam is never seen alive again. The clip went viral immediately, watched by millions, slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. Some argued she was suffering from a psychotic episode. Others were convinced someone was just out of sight, someone she was desperately trying to escape. And a darker interpretation spread as well, that she was interacting with something not human. On February 19th, 19 days after she was last seen, a hotel maintenance worker went to the rooftop to investigate the water tanks after guests insisted something was wrong. What he found was horrifying. Inside one of the tanks floated the naked body of Elisa Lam. Her clothes were also inside, but separate from her body. There were no signs of external trauma, no evidence of drugs or alcohol. Her death was officially ruled an accidental drowning, but the circumstances raised far more questions than answers. The rooftop was locked, with alarms that should have gone off if anyone entered. The water tank lids were heavy, difficult to open, especially alone. Some employees even said it would have been impossible for Elisa to lift one by herself. And if she had somehow climbed in, how did the lid end up back in place? The contradictions were everywhere. The autopsy claimed she drowned, influenced by her bipolar disorder. But why were her clothes removed? Why was her medication found at inconsistent levels, not matching her prescription? Why had the dogs lost her trail near the roof weeks before, but no one found her body until much later? Each detail seemed to make the official explanation less believable. Over the years, several theories have emerged. The first is the mental health explanation. Elisa may have suffered a manic episode, as her erratic behavior in the elevator video suggests. Perhaps she climbed to the roof in confusion, entered the tank, and drowned. But this theory cannot explain the locked doors, the alarms, and the weight of the lid. The second theory is murder and cover-up. Some believe someone with access to restricted areas, possibly hotel staff, led her to the roof and forced her into the tank. The elevator video could be her fleeing from a pursuer who remained out of frame. Hiding her body in the water could have been a way to delay its discovery. Yet there was no physical evidence of assault, no fingerprints, no suspects identified. The third theory is paranormal. Many point to the hotel's history of suicides and murders, claiming Elisa became another victim of its curse. Her hand gestures in the elevator, for some, look ritualistic, as though she was communicating with something unseen. Online sleuths argue the Cecil has claimed countless lives, and Elisa Lam was simply its latest victim. And then there is conspiracy. At the same time, Elisa disappeared. A tuberculosis outbreak occurred in Skid Row. The test for tuberculosis has a name that shocked many once they discovered it. It is called the Lam-Elisa test. The coincidence was so precise that it fueled endless speculation. Was Elisa connected to an experiment? Was her death part of something larger, something deliberately hidden? There has never been evidence, but the connection continues to haunt conspiracy theorists to this day. Elisa's case has since become more than just a tragedy. It is an internet phenomenon. The elevator video remains one of the most infamous recordings ever released. Documentaries, YouTube analyses, online forums all continue to debate what happened to her. The Cecil Hotel itself has been closed, rebranded, and reopened, but its reputation remains forever tied to Elisa Lam. Elisa was a bright young woman searching for adventure and freedom. Instead, she found a death that defies explanation. Was she a victim of her own mind? A target of someone who knew the hotel's secrets? Or another soul consumed by the endless tragedies of the Cecil Hotel? There are no neat answers. Only questions, only shadows, only testimonies lost to time. And perhaps the most haunting testimony of all is Elisa's. What do you believe happened to her? Leave your theory in the comments. And if you want to uncover more cases that time tried to bury, more voices that were never meant to be heard, subscribe to The Lost Testimony. Because here, the truth isn't written, it's hidden.